Welcome back to In the Oven with Adam and Brad.
What's up, y'all?
How's that eye?
It's better. It's so much better. I'm so excited. It's still a little squinty, but it's not irritating. So
Yeah, it looks like today. I thought it was completely normal, but there's like maybe slightly swollen.
yeah, there's a little swelling. I probably need to go put an ice pack or something.
but,
on it,
like in general, way
man,
better.
it's so much better. For like a week, I felt like I had an eyelash on my eyeball. People are like, don't touch it. I'm like, I know, but I have to.
I know he probably got so tired of me. I was literally like,
I was
like, stop messing with it, Adam. I know you hate hearing it, but you need to quit messing.
It's like
with
second of relief.
it. Yeah,
And then it just back to irritating.
Yeah.
So
I remember when Letty scratched my eye. I was laying there, and you know how your eyes just move.
Yep.
And anytime they moved, it would cause me so much pain. So I was like trying to just like stare straight ahead and just like turn my head because it hurt so bad. Anytime
Yeah, gnarly. So my bleph is on the mend.
Yeah. Letty was getting like a little sty, but it like kind of went away.
Yeah.
You know, remember you saw her, but nothing happened. It just kind of went away. So I don't know.
Oh, well.
Happy belated Easter, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Happy Easter, everybody.
How was your Easter?
Great. Yeah, good time. We started out, went to church, did that whole deal, went to brunch afterwards, then just kind of hung out at the house for a while and then went over to Kirsty's aunt's at nighttime and, did the family thing and it was a good time. How about you?
So what'd y'all do with like Kirsty, like the family for Easter at night? What'd y'all do?
Just kind of hang out at Kirsty's aunt's house. She,
like make a certain kind of meal? Or
yeah,
is
they
it
normally
just like,
do the kind of fairly traditional, like it'll be like ham and turkey and then a bunch of sides. Well, everybody brings something.
Yeah.
So I did bacon wrapped asparagus.
Nice.
Fire.
Yeah, we never have like an Easter specific meal. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we kind of do brunch normally.
Yeah.
But like we don't have like ham, turkey, that kind of stuff is like not at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we always do some kind of ham, turkey, sometimes something fancy.
I didn't realize people did that until I actually saw like Alex posting like, look at this 17-pound ham we made. And then you just said ham. And I was like, oh, I guess people have like
My wife loves ham.
Yeah.
Meal. She's a big ham fan.
You know, Garrison eats no pork at all.
Yeah.
So
I know that.
He would not be a fan of the ham.
Yep.
So-
Is that a religious thing?
No, he just thinks that pigs are gross.
Like an unclean animal?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it's not like religious reason. He just like, he agrees they are dirty.
Oh, got it.
Animals,
Okay.
That type thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Cool.
So, but yeah, cause I was like something about bacon. He's like, oh, don't eat bacon. So now,
Yeah, he does.
yeah, bacon is like the
Everybody
only thing. Bacon is the only thing I would be fine with. And that's just cause you cook the crap out of it anyways.
It's the gateway meat. Man, I feel like vegans eat bacon.
Yeah. We did everything on Saturday, which I thought was going to be like fun to like get it all out of the way. So like Saturday morning, super early. There was actually an Easter egg hunt in the neighborhood at like 9.
Yeah, I heard.
That we could have went to, but we didn't. We went to my parents' house at 9:30 is about what time we got there. And we were there for brunch with them. And I told you this, it was literally like biscuits, 2 different kinds of biscuits. We made these like cinnamon sugar croissants with like some kind of like glaze you could have. So then there was, my dad had some like deer sausage and deer bacon.
Okay.
And then, but there was like a quiche, and then there was like a breakfast bread thing that was like ham and cheese, but there's like mostly
breads.
Yeah. And then so there was a lot of carbohydrates there.
Yeah,
And,
carb breakfast.
I was like, I'm glad I had a protein shake before I went because I knew in general that was going to. And then we went to an Easter egg hunt that the Hitchcocks put on. They're like annual Easter egg hunt. And I think Brenton dresses up as the Easter bunny. Someone was there dressed as the Easter bunny for like pictures of the kids. And then we left there and we came back home and kind of just like hung out for a little bit, napped some of the kids. And then we went over to Garrison's house and we painted some eggs. And then we went to church, and then church got over at like literally like 5:45. So by the time we got home, it was like ready for Letty's bedtime. But that meant that Sunday we were like, what do you do all day?
Yeah, but it felt weird.
Yeah. So we have this big like bounce house that like you can hook up water to, and the weather's been great. Letty played for like an hour and a half outside, maybe two hours in this like water bounce house with the neighbor has a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So they played with her. And then we came back inside from that and let Beckham nap. And then we went to the pool for like an hour. And then we came back to our house and she played on that thing. She at 6:00, we told her she could watch TV. She was like watching TV, and it was like she was fighting it. You could tell she was just fighting back, falling asleep. And I was like, "Are you tired?" She's like, "No." But it was just literally like she was ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Just ready to knock out. But yeah, I think it's so funny when kids get like wore out and they're like, "I'm not tired."
Yeah,
I'm not tired.
They get to that age where they're just never tired.
Just like I'll tell you all the time, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not even tired, but I'm tired.
Man, I'll wake up tired.
So it's like I said, "Baby, it's okay if you're tired. Like Daddy's tired. Like it's okay to be tired. I'm not tired.
Nope,
not tired
at all."
So, but no, it was a lot of fun. But I think in hindsight, like, you know, all those activities like give you something to do, you know, and kind of break up your day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like not one of those people with it. Before kids, if you told me, "Hey, you got a whole free day," I was amped.
Yep.
Now that I have kids and you go, "You got a whole free day, it's a holiday and stuff's closed," I'm like,
Yeah. What do I do?
yeah.
I got to entertain these little kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like if it was up to me, I probably would have just went to the gym, made some food at home, watched some TV.
Piddled around.
Yeah,
with
just
stuff.
piddled. Maybe done a project,
Yeah,
you know.
right.
I don't know.
Same.
Maybe took a nap.
Yep.
I don't know. But with kids, it's like, you're like,
No, sir.
yeah. And Letty, you know, because she was the only child for so long, I feel like we definitely have to be more involved in like whatever the activities are.
Sure.
You know, she did like if she's coloring at the table, you got to be in the room with her.
Yeah.
And she'd prefer if you come color with her.
Right.
Right. If she's playing Barbies, like you're playing Barbies with
Yeah.
her.
You need to be engaged.
Right. And so that's like hard because you can't just be like, "Go play Barbies and
Daddy,
we'll hang
daddy,
out."
daddy,
So,
daddy,
yeah.
daddy, daddy.
Yeah, for sure.
So anybody who has kids, y'all know that sound.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was kind of the recap of what happened. And then obviously, you know, last week was super busy for us at Fat and Weird. We got out a ton of cookies for GoPuff and DoorDash for their 420 collabs. And
But we were able
launch.
to make their deadline. That's great. We were sweating it a little bit.
Yeah, so GoPuff really wanted everything in by the 18th to like get it all locked and loaded. And honestly, we would have had it all there on the 17th, but UPS dropped the ball, truthfully. But we got it all there. So far, I haven't followed up with them. We probably should and just ask them how everything's been going with the launch. But our co-branded products with GoPuff launched, and to our knowledge, is going well. And then same with the DoorDash, the 420 cookie with DoorDash is doing well.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see once they publish all their sales weekend statistics. But we'll have to see what Easter did to the 420 sales weekend.
Yeah, I was always curious, you know, because obviously the people that partake in Easter and 420, I doubt, like if it was a Venn diagram or whatever, I doubt the overlap is that large.
Right.
I mean, there is overlap.
There's overlap.
But it's not super large. You know?
It's not, but it's like...
Well, I mean, I consumed the same amount of weed yesterday as I would have consumed any other day, probably.
True that. Yeah, true that.
So what I meant by 420, it's like the people that like literally
go hard.
Like go hard.
Yeah.
You know, on those
There's
days.
no need in doing that.
So, but yeah, I mean, obviously people that use weed and celebrate Easter, that's a bigger overlap. But people that like celebrate 420,
right,
I mean,
true that,
overlap is probably not very large.
Yeah, but for it being GoPuff's like biggest sales weekend, for it to be a big heavy hitter for DoorDash and some of the other apps, I mean that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just curious, how did Easter itself affect that? Because I know a lot of people weren't on their phones because it was Easter,
right?
Or is it just the people that I know of because they're not celebrating 420?
Yeah,
you know?
true that. I don't know. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, more engaged with family, and because it's more, I don't know, it's a little bit
super religious,
super
holiday,
religious,
really,
and it's smaller than like, I don't know. I feel like Christmas, even though it's a very important holiday, very important religious holiday, it's like glamorized to the point where like
super commercialized.
Yeah, everybody gets together, but they're not really together. They're on their phones or whatever.
Right.
Whereas like Easter, we're kind of all like trying to talk and be a family.
Well, also like, I think that what I've learned, people either get Friday or Monday or potentially both of those days off for Easter. So there is a day off usually involved with Easter, but with Christmas, there's like weeks off.
Yeah.
Weeks, like literal week, unless you are in those roles that work.
Suck, dude. Remember, I mean, we talk about it every year.
Oh yeah.
Last year was terrible.
Because even Thanksgiving, you get a couple of days off, and then based on your retail work or not, you may be working Black Friday or whatever. But like for Christmas, like everything kind of shuts down around Christmas. So I think there is this boredom that ensues with that amount of time off that people are on their phones. Whereas on Easter, you're like, this is our one day to spend together. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Plus,
also, the weather here is like in most places is probably not nice enough to be like outside on Christmas for sure. You know, it's not most places, but like here, the weather was beautiful. I mean, Saturday, the pool, and Sunday.
Gorgeous.
Tons of people at the pool. And so,
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm just curious how Easter affected, 420. It happens. I mean, it's on there every once in a while, but it's not very often.
Not often.
So,
but this weekend, you got something coming up?
Yeah. So running the half marathon this weekend, I guess I'm like having a little existential crisis or whatever on the fact that I bought race day shoes, worn them. I'm not sure that they're the best idea for me as far as like the stability of the shoe. Right. And I definitely run fast in them. Yeah. Like I can tell they're so much lighter. My legs feel lighter like when I'm running in them, but I'm definitely pronating a lot more. And so I'm worried because I've run 12 miles with Garrison before and the next day was fine walking around. And then after I did that half marathon for like 2 days, I couldn't walk because things were sore that weren't normally sore. And even when I ran 6 miles with him, the next day when I got up and got out of bed, it took me a second to kind of like loosen up, which is weird. Yeah. 6 miles is nothing. Like I've run 6 miles a ton since then. And so that's what worries me. So I have some insoles that I bought and I'm going to try to run. They'll be here Wednesday. So I'm probably going to run like Wednesday evening and just see how I feel. Because I think I'm not going to wear the running. There's race day shoes and may wear some other shoes if I still hurt.
Yeah. It's tough call, man. This close.
I know.
Tough call this close. But I mean, you've got the cardio ability, you've got the physical ability to get it done in any pair of shoes. Right. And so, I mean, you kind of got to be a little conservative because you don't want to hurt yourself during the run. Right. That would be the only thing I'd be worried about.
Well, you saw how many miles had I run and none of my toenails got affected, nothing. And I run the half marathon, those race day shoes, and my toe is like purple. And then even when I ran the 6 miles, I had to stop in time again because I was starting to get that happening again. So I don't know. I'm like, that's a lot of money to spend on shoes, but also at the same time, like my body breaking down would be like way worse. Yeah. And not to, I mean, we're running Saturday morning. Like I want to be able to walk the rest of the day Saturday. Right. And then Sunday, we don't leave until like the afternoon. Right. Like I want to be able to like not be in pain. Yep. Because I don't know, like I said, I've run 12 miles and was fine the next day. And after that 13 miles, which is only one, but not even 10% more, I guess 10% more really. Yeah. And it's like killed me.
Yeah. That's wild.
So I don't know. What do you think?
Man, I would not want to risk it. I mean, if I felt super beat up after a pair of shoes, plus, I mean, I seen your video. I mean, you were rolling all in on that ankle. I'd be worried I would hurt myself during the run. I mean, truthfully, I know you want to walk around and everything, but like the goal of, your time and the race and everything, that's the pinnacle. That's what's most important. So if I were going there, I would want to complete the race, complete it in the time I set. And then if I could walk around afterwards, that's like extra, that's bonus for me, and I know you'd be the same way, but I would be worried that like mile 8 something pops. Yeah. You can't finish.
Yeah. I honestly thought about like literally, like having someone meet me at some mile to swap shoes out or something.
Now you ought to take that video though and send it to them.
Yeah.
Send it to that running shoe company and be like, yo, this is what happens to my ankles when I run in your shoes.
Yeah.
See what they say.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just know that it's weird because I was reading online and people were saying like, I normally wear stability shoes and my race is coming up. Like what shoes should I be wearing? And everyone's just kind of like, just wear whatever shoes you've been running in. Yeah. So I hate it though, because I can feel, I mean, they are bouncy. You feel the difference. Yeah. And I mean, if let's just say they're 15 seconds faster. Well, on the course of 13 miles, like that's a lot, like that's adding up. I don't know. That's where I've kind of like lost. I've run my hour 45 in them. Yeah. But it hurt. Yeah. Can I run an hour 45 in another pair of shoes? I just feel like I should be capable of doing it.
I feel like so too.
Yeah.
I feel like so too.
Because I was hurting at the end of my last run, and part of me goes, wouldn't I've been able to sprint it out in another pair of shoes if I wasn't hurting?
Right, I would think so, especially if your toes and stuff are bothering you.
Yeah.
You can't really lean into your feet if your toes.
Well, no, it was my ankle that was hurting me so bad.
Yeah,
it's even worse.
Yeah,
even worse. Yeah. So, yeah. So, well, this will all be fixed if I could just be a robot.
Yep, if you have little robot legs.
So we should see this robot runner right here.
Let's head on over to China.
This is one you found, right?
That's right. Here we go, baby. Look at him go. Look at him go. Not a bad pace either. Oh, they got the baby.
Wow.
They got the baby.
Why are they holding on to it?
I don't know. Got him on a leash. Too fast. The guy has boxing gloves on.
Wait, was it actual competition, like, or something?
Maybe. Oh, yeah, look at him go. Look at him
I feel like
go.
he's actually moving pretty quick.
Yeah, I do too.
240. What's a 240 marathon time for
a half?
half? Yeah.
That boy's speed walking.
337. That's real slow.
Oh, I got that. I got you, robot.
Oh, you can stop it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So 240. Gosh, that's got to be like 2 hours is a 9 minute. So 240 would be like, gosh, like a 12 minute. Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
I can do that. Hell yeah.
It's still
It's moving.
pretty surprising.
Oh yeah. For a robot. Yeah. I mean, it's really neat. They got the arms pumping. They got the upper body kind of going back and forth for balance. It's impressive. I mean,
I was actually honestly the little robot's impressive how fast it was moving because how small it is. That moved pretty quick.
Man, the leaps and bounds they've made in this technology is just wild. I can't imagine what it's going to be in a few years. I mean,
I don't see a world where 10 years from now there isn't some kind of like robot in some people's homes. Not saying it'll be like every home will have.
You think it'll take that long? 10?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't.
Because think about it. We're 2 years removed from AI and we still haven't seen, like, in my opinion,
yeah. I just mean with like Alexas and Roombas and the Internet of Things.
Well, I just think, truthfully, based on safety and those kind of protocols, I think it'll take 10 years before you have a robot in your home.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think it'll be faster. I think we got 5 tops.
The way I look at it is like, man, 10 years ago is when I was like getting out of the military, and I think about how much has happened just in that 10-year period.
Yeah.
Or 20 years ago is now I'm coming up with my 20-year high school reunion.
Yep.
Like the first, iPod was coming out a little bit over 20 years ago. So that's the way I look at it, is like, we haven't progressed, in my opinion, to like, to something that's like just blows through what the iPod
Yeah, I think it'll
was,
come through. I think it'll just come down to like commercialization and how cheaply they can make technology.
Right.
So like, it starts with the Roomba. It starts with, the things that map your house out. It starts with the LiDAR. And I mean, we saw got Wi-Fi capable cameras or whatever now. I mean, I think it's just going to be, a couple of years.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it would do for us.
Do you think do you think they'll integrate like cleaning into robots themselves, or will they have robots use cleaning supplies?
I think that they'll probably do that, but I think the smarter fix would be to re-engineer the home and to re-engineer things so that, like, yes, you could plop a humanoid robot into our atmosphere and it could do the things. But like, even when we went over like the Ocado stuff and how they deliver groceries, if your home's refrigerator had the ability to have like a docking port straight into the outside or something like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like a re-engineering of how we lived, it would make it to where robotics and automation would look more like what we use here and not like robots walking around.
Yeah.
I see that happening.
Yeah. And what Adam's kind of saying by that is essentially like the whole idea of like, now that we have USB-C, making everything USB-C so that like any cord, any charger kind of plugs into that. So we saw a grocery delivery system, but they were using these kind of like crates. And if these crates could just like slide into your home somehow, then essentially it's like, why have we not put parcel drop lockers into homes for packages to keep them safe, and we're just throwing them on the porch? Like, we should put some kind of system where the guy goes to your garage and he pulls down some big container and could like drop a box in, and that way it just goes in your box. I know Amazon's doing things where like they can get into your house via your garage, but like the point is that you shouldn't even have to have that. We should have some kind of system where USPS, all these people carry a device with them that allows them to like scan it and open up a parcel locker to put parcels into. And then you don't have to worry about theft off.
Yeah, I mean, I see things like that. I see services, things like laundry services, things like the ability to like just throw your stuff in an area and it just be returned to you. So I see automation and robotics being more involved in our daily lives, whether or not we have like a humanoid robot around.
Right.
Because the more I think about it, I don't know what I would have it do for me.
Well, the stuff that you're talking about right now. So like I would have it like, take the laundry from the bin, put it in the layer, move it to the dryer, pull it out, fold it. I would have it do like in the morning I'd leave and I would have it like tidy up the house, vacuum, put the dishes away, all that kind of stuff and dust, and probably have it like kind of cleaning throughout the home throughout the week,
Yep.
Really, it's just like the normal upkeep of stuff that you just don't want to do. Go out and clean the grill every week or pressure wash the house once a year.
Yeah, I can see that.
All the random maintenance stuff that you would have to do, stuff you'd have to either hire a housekeeper or something like that for. Yep. And then potentially to the level of like you Instacart groceries, they go pick them up from outside, put them away. Maybe they lay out food. Maybe they make dinner, and then clean up after dinner. I would never want a robot to be like, go bathe my kid instead of me. Right. Like I still want those kind of things. I want it to do the stuff that takes away from me, like just living my life.
Right. I can see that being a support role.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's just a garrison. Yeah. Just need a garrison
helper.
Bot.
Yeah.
The G-Bot will be my first robot named after Garrison.
There you go.
That's why I wouldn't want a robot, because it wouldn't do the things that I want them to do the right way.
Yeah. True. You get the Garrison too. That would be the name of my first robot. Okay. What do we got next?
Scorched versus not scorched.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, here we go. More Blue Origin.
SpaceX capsule scorched after atmospheric re-entry. And then the Blue Origin's capsule after atmospheric re-entry. Just completely unfazed. Listen, guys, my car gets dirtier just going to the store and back. Then this thing is just perfect.
Pause it. So I see a lot of people saying they didn't leave the atmosphere, they didn't go to space, like all that kind of stuff. From what I saw, it looked like they were pretty high up there. Like, how far do you have to go to like reach a level where you get scorched on the outside?
I don't know.
And then also, that looks like a inflatable dome that you'd see at like Coachella.
Yeah. So this story is just all over the place. It's so fake seeming that it like can't be real to me, because there's just so many like holes in everything. But yeah, I mean, I saw the videos. Looks like they're pretty dang high up. I know you can go into low orbit pretty high. Richard Branson's done some flights. Blue Origin's done other flights. This one got a lot of press. I don't know. I mean, there were all women on it, but like there were women astronauts who trained very hard and lived their whole lives to be astronauts. So like Oprah's friend going into space just seems stupid. You know, like, I mean, no offense to anybody really, but like a bunch of entertainers took a passenger tourist ride to space. Like, I don't.
It costs a lot of money.
Costs a lot of money, man.
Another thing that like cracks me up. Again, I don't know if it's fake or not fake, and truthfully, I don't really care because it doesn't really add that much value to my life. However, I've seen a lot of stuff on it where people are showing the capsule like coming down and the view, and then when they show a close up, the view looks completely different. Things like that. Again, I don't know or truly care whether they went or not, but I just think it's really wild the amount of attention that it got. So I almost wonder if it was like didn't get enough because I heard nothing about it after it happened.
Same.
So almost it's like, were they like, we didn't get enough attention, we need to spin, because you know how that is.
Oh yeah,
we've read online where people will kick up just fake PR stories to like
get people talking about it.
Get people talking about it. So in my opinion, if nothing else, this was amazing publicity for Blue Origin and some of the people that were on the thing. I think there's some names that kind of got more attention, like Katy Perry than other names. But like Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos, the whole unlocking the door that was like messed up. They got so much attention that if anything, they should just be excited about the attention.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. They even released a press release or whatever, like all the passengers or whatever they're called that were on the flight go through all the checks, but part of the checks are, locking and sealing the door. So like they can unlock it and open it from the inside, just like every other vehicle.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's wild, but Who knows?
Yeah, we also
photo
talked
op
about
moment
like
for him.
Well, how like flimsy the door looked and seemed. You know, like aircraft doors are like thick.
Dude, I ain't going on that thing.
Yeah, the last time people took a janky ride somewhere, it
ended really badly, and they were all rich too. So,
yeah,
no
yeah,
thanks.
yeah. Okay, the question that needs to be asked. Okay, here we go.
Can I ask our brand new astronauts a question? Where's their partially pressurized suit and parachute pack? Where are their helmets? Where are their protective gloves? I don't see any of this but a bunch of dolled up hair, which would have never had a helmet on it.
Yeah, you can pause it. We talked about that too, and yeah, the person said, as a pilot, I can tell you that they would have had, at least helmets. And there was no back. You're right. There was no backup gear. Like there was no safety,
right?
Yeah.
Basic safety gear. I mean, dude. Can you imagine being that far underwater and having no gear?
No, yeah,
No. And you're in space.
Well,
and
I mean, under the water one, it's like,
and you're screwed. I mean, like you're screwed. I guess you're screwed either way. But like,
yeah, because even on the submarine, we had these special submarine escape suits. They were like, if for some reason the submarine went down and like started to sink uncontrolled, I guess, depth, we have these suits you can evacuate in. Here's a couple things. One, most likely, if the submarine were to just go down, the ocean's so deep that it would go down until it just would get crushed and you would all die instantaneously. Right. Two, if you did happen to escape, the depth at which you need to be to technically wear these suits, we're not going to sink in water that shallow.
Right.
Really is the gist of it. And I guess the final thing is, this is kind of like, you're going to die, so you might as well YOLO and see if you can make it out in these pressurized suits. Yeah. And the same thing, they're pressurized to try to keep you from getting crushed immediately when you like leave.
Yeah. I mean, when faced with absolute death, any chance is better than no chance. But yeah, I mean, no helmets, no, I mean, I know it's always been kind of weird, but like a lot of the gear has like parachutes and stuff like that for the astronauts. I mean, I don't know at what height they can deploy those.
Do you remember that Red Bull guy that jumped out?
Yeah.
From low orbit?
Yeah.
He seemed to be about the same height they were. And it said low orbit.
I would say so.
He was in a full-on astronaut suit.
I know.
And I realized he was out of the craft. Yeah. But you're telling me that craft was the thing that was good to go?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. And especially when we see more stuff like what we're about to see
the raw footage from 1966.
See, this is what you got to go off of. And then you base everything around this. And like, I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, this man is not held up by his hips by a harness or anything. This is complete normal space. That's how you travel in zero G's. There's the planet.
System and communications link from the spacecraft life support system out through that chest pack.
That's the realest thing I've ever seen.
My favorite is the shadow.
Dude, look at his hips, man. Why does your butt lift up in the air if you're supposed to be floating?
Yeah.
So there we go, y'all.
Yeah, I think the hard part is like, we're standing on that, right? And so if we're standing on that, I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
NASA out here standing on business, y'all.
So funny that you can't say that you don't believe we went to the moon.
I don't know if I believe we went to space after seeing a bunch of this stuff, man. Like, I know we got satellites up there. I know we got things floating around up there, but like,
how far up there are they really?
Right,
are they just low orbits?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because low orbit, the way it was described to me, is like kind of a perpetual fall. They basically, it's falling at the planet, but at an angle that it never quite comes towards the planet. It falls basically towards the horizon at all times. And so that's where the ellipsis kind of comes from there.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
So when you go even in low orbit, when you're experiencing anti-gravity, you're not actually, you're just falling.
Right, I understand.
And so you're just falling kind of at an angle away from the planet. But like when you see a lot of these videos, even the way they shot like Apollo 13, you remember how old that movie was?
Right.
They literally just took a jet, went way up in the sky and then dropped it. And so everybody's like pushing around off the walls and you get however many seconds per clip, but you know, I mean, you can do a lot.
Right.
And now with video editing and stitching and everything else, like, I mean, make a pretty believable video.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
yeah.
you pour water out, it'll fall with you and look like you can push it around.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That lower would be like that. Another thing that's always been weird to me is like, gravity has to do with the mass of an object, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, everything then would have its own gravitational pull.
It should.
And you should be able to like counter the Earth's gravitational pull to some effect. Meaning,
in theory, everything should kind of just collect towards the walls of whatever you're on. Because it would have the mass.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean by that.
It should.
Well, so I'm just saying if I held out a grain of sand and then I put, my fist next to it, I'm just like so much bigger, or a giant ball. It should like slowly work its way towards it. And I feel like it should. Because even if something's pulling it
down. That's what I've been told. Gravity.
Yeah, it is weird. I never thought about that until now.
Yeah.
But maybe it's all the residual weed from 420.
Yeah, it could
that
be.
has me thinking all this kind of crazy thoughts,
Could be. That's like, even, in sci-fi movies or whatever, when they fly through like an asteroid belt or whatever, those things would have to either be so far apart that you'd never have to worry about crashing into one, or they would be one solid mass.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be either a pile of gravel floating through the sky, or they'd have to be so far apart that, I don't know, they weren't pulling on each other or whatever.
Right.
So it's always interesting.
Well, and it is weird to me to think about. It's just like, you're like, okay, the sun has a gravitational force, but like we're all spinning so much that we're just holding just a certain amount of distance
weird,
away
dude.
from it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, there's all kinds of questions I have about just like honestly, like I'd probably ask God about these things, or if you don't believe in God, like whoever, but like, why is the universe so big?
Yeah, so big.
Unless it's not really
Unless
out
it's
there.
not. And we're just all inside the firmament.
Well, I mean, there's people that believe that we live in like a, projection, like, these all just like projections and stuff. Yeah, I would love to like just dissect like all the different theories of like existence. There's probably some pretty wild ones out there, but to me, that double slit experiment, which I know I don't.
Oh yeah,
have
that's
it here,
a cool one.
Where they're measuring like the electrons and like waves and things like that, and they like operated a certain way when they weren't being watched, and when they were being watched, they operated differently.
I mean, that's very trippy. That's something that they have no idea how.
Yeah.
Or whatever, even to the extent of during that experiment, they had it to where they could somehow like cut the camera on like afterward, and it like went and reversed its behavior. Like the electron patterns changed.
Right.
They shouldn't have been able to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's almost
it's
like
really
time
weird.
travel.
It's really weird. It's kind of the idea of like if a tree falls in the wood in the woods and no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound, and everyone's been like, oh yeah, it makes a sound. But like that theory kind of like says like it might not actually make a sound.
Yeah.
It's kind of the whole idea for people that play video games is like when you're playing in a Grand Theft Auto or a world video game that the entire world is there, that areas of the map that aren't being viewed just aren't loading.
Yep.
It's not enough. The bandwidth needed to load it. There's no point in doing it because no one's interacting with it.
Yep.
So yeah, it is really, really weird. That experiment kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
About like.
Yeah, that's trippy. I mean, like you just gotta again take it all for face value. But
yeah, Garrison, look it up. I think it's called like the double slit experiment.
Yeah.
And it was it has something to do with electrons passing through like two slits.
Yeah.
And it's something about like it should create like
a ripple
waves, and those waves should interact with each other,
Yep.
and it doesn't. It just goes as like straight. Yeah, it's called the double slit experiment. And so go to the top and just say, what does the people ask, what does the double slit experiment show that first drop down? Double slit experiment demonstrates that both light and matter can exhibit both wave-like and particle-like characteristics, a phenomenon known as the wave-particle duality. When light or other particle-like electrons are fired through two slits, they create an interference pattern on a screen behind, which is a hallmark of wave behavior. This experiment has profound understanding quantum mechanics. But yeah, the whole idea was like if they didn't observe it,
yeah,
it actually just did like two slits of light, and they were like, wait, what's going on?
Shouldn't happen.
And then they started observing it, and so there's some more to it. You can look up that. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, look up double slit experiment. It's worth checking out.
All right.
What do we got here?
If the center of the earth is hot, why is the ocean cold? All right.
Can I blow your mind right now? Okay.
Yes.
If the center of the earth is hot, Why is the bottom of the ocean cold? Right? Let that sink in. So you're closer to the source of the Earth's heat, but the water is colder. It doesn't make sense. So Chris and I were talking about this because we were flying to see our sister last summer, and we're going over the ocean. And I said, make it make sense, Chris. Scientists expect us to believe that the center of the Earth is 100% pure lava, which is liquid fire. You can look this up. So shouldn't the bottom of the ocean be boiling water? Well, it's not. It's cold water. So there's only one explanation for this. There's only one explanation. And that is that the center of the Earth is actually frozen. And if this is a hard thing to believe, you just have to look to the evidence. And who gives us the evidence? The same scientists that try to tell us that the center of the Earth is hot. Okay, so if you really want to go down this rabbit hole with me, ask yourself why 50% of scientists say that the dinosaurs were killed by the Ice Age, and the other 50% say it was because of volcanic eruptions. Well, if the center of the Earth is frozen, what comes out of a volcano? I think you know where I'm going with this.
Ice?
Yeah, was you trying to say ice? That's probably the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I don't know how to end.
I'm not saying that I think that the center of the Earth is lava or frozen, but the reason that cold water is on the bottom is because cold water is more dense and it sinks.
And it's away from the light.
Right. Well, and it would just no matter what, the colder water would just continue to fall. And there's a lot of things that are heat shields in between the center of the Earth and the ocean itself.
Lots of rock.
Yeah.
Lots of rock.
Right. And that rock does shoot out lava.
It does.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Which I guess, they're trying to say that comes all the way from the core of the Earth?
No, it comes from the mantle. I mean, like, I don't think I don't think the core of the Earth is actually even supposed to. I think it's a solid chunk. I think it rotates. I think it's a solid chunk and it rotates.
It's actually a giant magnet.
Yeah. And then magma, or the mantle, or whatever, that's the biggest area of it.
That's where all the plates are supposedly sliding around.
Yeah, they say that's all liquid, but I don't know. The amount of friction constantly required to.
How do we have this information?
See, this also falls into back into the realm of, like, I learned this at school, and then later, like, I learned this when I was very young, right?
Yeah.
The core, the mantle,
the
crust, all this, all this, learned so much about it. And then in high school, I learned that the, like, deepest we've ever dug, like, the Russians drilled, like, I don't know, into the ground like a mile, not very far.
Right.
And the crust is like hundreds of miles thick. Right. And it's the skinny part. And so I'm like, what?
Right. Like, what kind of imaging do we have that we can see all the way down there?
Well, like, people get pimples. It doesn't mean what comes out of a pimple is inside my body. I know it's a terrible analogy.
Well, yeah, it's inside your body, but it's not in that necessarily that concentration or that.
It's not in like my core.
Right.
It's not coming from my core. I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. That is interesting. Because, I mean, you learned it as a kid. So you're telling me, like, essentially 40 years ago.
Just like dinosaurs.
They knew.
They knew.
Yeah, man. I'm like questioning everything I was growing up
Don't
with
look
now.
inside the center of the planet because it's full of lava. There's nothing there you could punt to explore.
Well, I mean, just like you said, like, how could we even just...
Don't go to the South Pole and find the entrance into the Earth.
Well, like, how far out would you have to go from the Earth to be able to, like, scan the Earth to be able to, like, see that? You know what I mean?
You should be able. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know what kind of, like, thermal signatures, like, like, how much thermal blanketing the rest of the Earth does. But, like, I would think we would glow on, like, thermal imaging. Like, Earth would be hot if it's full of lava.
Yeah, but if you got past those layers of
I know.
insulation, essentially.
But in space, compared to space,
yeah,
it'd be hot as hell.
Well, I mean, just 90 degrees would look hot as hell, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but then again, I mean, it's weird how the atmosphere and a little bit of sunlight keeps the planet warm enough to.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. Space trips me out, man.
I don't think people appreciate just how complex the Earth is sometimes.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
Just like, yeah.
All right, pyramids and the speed of light. Oh, this guy's been popping up on my feed a lot.
Wouldn't it be crazy if whoever designed and built the pyramids had knowledge of what the speed of light was?
Wouldn't that be
For
crazy?
anyone that's hasn't kept up, Egyptians did not build the pyramids. That has been abundantly proven. Look at the 600-meter shafts they found beneath it, and also look at this. This is the exact latitudinal measurement coordinates for the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid, okay? Check out that number there. It happens to match up exactly with the speed of light by meters per second, which is how we measure it. It's the exact same number. So that implies two things that are pretty pivotal to your understanding of the pyramids. Whoever built them knew what the speed of light was. That's number one. Number two, they also had the ability to find the exact spot on the entire Earth where that matched up. They knew the entire Earth's circumference. And the Queen's Chamber lines up exactly with the North Star.
That last one, the North Star one, is like a little bit more crucial in my opinion. But like someone already pointed out, latitude and longitude are recent assigned numbers.
Right. Somebody from ancient Egypt did know how the circumference of the Earth. He had somebody like pace it out and did some experiment and got really, really close.
Right. Yeah, I know that.
Really close. Yeah, I don't know, man. Latitude, longitude wasn't around when the Egyptians were plotting their pyramid. Kind of made up later. I mean, it's very useful, but I mean, effectively 0 starting points were just decided.
Does it talk about building the pyramids at all in the Bible?
No.
I do know that like Egyptians had obviously the Israel as slaves.
Slave tasks.
But I don't know if we've always thought they were kind of building pyramid type stuff, you know, but I don't know what they were actually doing.
Yeah, I don't know either. Building a shroud for the Ark of the Covenant.
You know, a lot of times it talks about them building these like giant gold gods and worshiping and stuff. Like, how did they do all that? Like, what did they have to like cast and form these? Like, did they fill up stone with this and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Because they'd be like, they made a giant golden bull.
I don't think we have. Yeah, I don't think we have any idea how they made any of this stuff. I mean, you know, the castings, certain castings. I mean, you could use sand, you could use all kinds of things to like make that type. Like that's not so crazy, but like, man, 600 meters, 600 feet, however big they are, shafts coming out of the bottom of the pyramid and the Great Pyramids themselves. I don't think we have any idea how we built any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially some of the stuff, man, that I've seen just obviously tons of pictures of, but like in India, like ancient parts of India, dude, like so old. And like, there's one where there's a whole cave is like, it's like relief cut into the cave. So it's like a temple cut into this cave.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I showed you the one too, where they found these things. So they don't even know what they are. But they're like, kind of cylindrical. And when they measured the walls, they are like a perfect, like they're perfect on the inside of these walls. And they're like, we don't even have machines that could laser this.
Right.
And this is made of stone.
Yep.
And it's literally perfect.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Definitely some lost technology for sure.
Yeah. All right. Shift your focus internally. I feel like this is going to be motivational.
Yeah.
Ready.
People spend a lot of time stressing and anxious about outcomes. They focus a lot about the things that are happening outside themselves, as opposed to working on what they really can, which is the things inside themselves. So people will be very stressed out and very unhappy and say, I can't really move forward in my life until the economy's better. I can't move forward in my life until my health is better. I can't move forward in life until my marriage is better. They focus on the exogenous because that's a natural thing to do. What I care about is the outcome. What I care about is the circumstances under which I can thrive. But the truth is you can't affect those things fundamentally. Happiness comes when you're all about what you can affect and surrendering in the things that you can't.
I agree with some of that. I would say though, with like him saying, I can't, you know, my life can't improve till the economy's better or whatever. I just think, man, as a society, we have shifted our whole focus into how I can be a victim and how I can just not take responsibility for things that are around me, that I feel like it's more that than something else. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But for me, when he says stuff like that, like I'm guilty of like, you know, the big sale we're working on right now with like the 300 plus pallets, like that's stressing me out. But I can't control the outcome of that kind of thing. So for me, like that's how I read a lot of that stuff, is that like, which I hope that you've seen, I've done a lot better job about like not being
for sure
stressed out about things that I can't control.
Yep.
You know, the GoPuff bags coming and they were Rev, you know, 1 instead of Rev 3. And I'm just like,
Yep.
Is what it is, you know?
Yeah,
Obviously,
no,
I don't want to be like a defeated person, but I also don't want to be like getting spun up for something I can't help.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess part of that is the stress part. I mean, we all handle it differently. We all self-impose it differently. It's usually a level to some extent based on not how much you care, but kind of how much you care. It's really important. So you're going to focus on it a lot. You're going to think about it a lot. You know, that makes sense. I guess I mean more that like, my life can't improve till the economy gets better. Well, there's a lot of people living pretty good lives with the current economy. Does that make sense?
Right.
So like going out and finding the things that now this one specific answer with this one specific broker, if they don't fall through, we're going to find more. We're going to figure that out. Right. We're going to figure something out. But like, yeah, I just see it across the board, man. Like with people's lives, with their work, with their jobs, with their spouses, they just, this is my rain cloud. You know, I just kind of carry it with me. It's a correlation that kind of weird that I guess I'm going here, but it's a correlation with like fitness. You can't really fake it. There's no excuses. You know, your diet doesn't care whether you like counting your macros or you don't.
Right.
Your diet, it doesn't care. And that's kind of the same deal. You can tell me all the reasons why you're not in shape or you're not whatever, but it's going to kind of be the same reasons as, you know, anything else. It's just self-imposed.
Right.
And
yeah. I think that like, I guess, you know, you can't say that it's not harder for some people, but the truth is like there's some level of suck that you have to go through sometimes, and most people aren't willing to go through that.
Yeah, and some people are nutty and enjoy the suck, and other people just do it, and it's just kind of part of being a man and getting older or whatever. You have to do it either way. It doesn't really matter whether you like it or not, or give up, you know, or don't.
Yeah. I think that for me, I've just definitely tried to let go of those things that I just can't control anymore. And sometimes I feel like I'm just like, oh, well, you know, but it's even Aubrey one day was like, why aren't you more mad? Like was like kind of upset that I wasn't upset about something, you know? And I was just like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, I obviously have provisions and plans in place for alternatives or like however I may need to handle this. But at the same time, it's just like, it's not going to do me any good to get all worked up over this. Cause all it's going to do is just amp me up for nothing. Yeah. And I'm still going to have the same choices and outcomes I'm going to have either way. So I definitely have gotten like better about just kind of accepting the fate of certain things. Yeah. But that doesn't mean I'm perfect. That's
hell no.
So,
I mean, I think we could try. I think it's, you know, decent message, you know, focus on yourself, focus on the internal. I like that message.
Well, also don't wait for better circumstances for anything.
Go create them.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're married, you can't be happy till your marriage is better. It's like, well,
fix your marriage.
Well, as soon as you fix your marriage, like what else is going to be? There's going to be something else. Right. Yep. I guess like a lot of people, you know, if you ask them like, what do you want? There's like, I just want to be happy. It's well, you can be happy right now.
Yeah.
So congrats, you're done. Right.
You won.
I think a lot of people think that there has to be like all these things, everything has to be in its place for you to be happy.
Well, in society leaning on you really hard to tell you what your happiness is.
Yeah.
You know, instead of you knowing what it is. I mean, like, just so much noise all the time. You know, you need a better car, need a better this, need a better that. You need to be a better everything, right? You don't speak 10 languages and play 15 instruments or whatever.
You can really learn a lot about someone's mindset when you ask them like, what does success mean to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because like some people attach it to a monetary figure. Some people attach it to, you know, material things or even just like status. The checks, like having this and having this and having this, you know, not necessarily, you know, material things, but like you said, more like having status or having this a job or having a car or knowing these people or getting to this level of things. And so, yeah, it's interesting because you really can tell a lot about the way someone thinks and what they kind of put value on, you know, when you ask them like what success means, you know?
Yep.
And I think the truth is not there's anything wrong with having ever evolving desires or goals and aspirations, but a lot of times people aren't grateful for what they have. Yeah. And a lot, you know, they originally said when I had X, Y, and Z, I'd be happy or I've made it or I'm successful or I'm whatever. Yep. And then you ask them when they have those things and it's like the next thing is the next thing. So I think that's another thing too for me is just like, I remember when I prayed for a kid or prayed for another kid. And I remembered when, you know, I was excited when fat and weird. I wasn't having to check the bank account every day. I still got to check it every day right now.
Yeah.
But there's been
now.
ebbs and flows of
Yeah,
times of like
that's
not
right.
having to like worry about it as much, you know? And so I think that, you know, you just tend to take those things for granted. Almost like even your weight loss, because you see yourself every day.
Yep.
And you get used to seeing yourself every day. And, you know, there's times when, you know, you haven't seen someone in a while and you see them, you're like, oh, wow, have you lost weight? And then to them, they're like, oh, yeah, I've been working on it a while, you know, but you haven't seen them in so long, you notice the difference.
It's a huge change for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. We have no shower thoughts or anything like that, you know? So maybe we should bring back shower thoughts. I actually used to enjoy those.
Yeah,
to be honest
they
with
were
you.
fun.
Oh, yeah. You got
to get some new ones.
You just got to watch all the old podcasts again, so you can make sure you don't get the same ones. So, but yeah, I fly out Thursday for the Nashville. My friend Tommy just finished the Boston. Today's the Boston Marathon.
How'd he do?
2:44.
Nice job, Tommy.
Something. So it was like right under 2:45. So that's a really great time. He was
Nice job,
booking
Tommy.
it. Who's the fastest for your friends that did it? You had a friend that was like cruising. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. So that's a pace that like I don't know if I could just like truly fathom.
Yeah, you build different at those kind of speeds. Sub 6s for repeats on, you know, because like, I mean, for me, I would be, I mean, yes, a while ago could run sub 6s, but I felt like I was sprinting. I did not feel like I was casually or like running at a pace that I could. I mean, I definitely couldn't maintain it, but my legs would get smoked, all that.
Yeah, you'd be able to do it for like a mile, maybe
I'm like,
two, but
it was like all acceleration. Like no, like, you know, you watch the Kenyans or whatever, man. They're just like.
The funny thing is you watch the Kenyans finishing a marathon and you don't even feel like they're running fast.
No,
and then they get done and you're like, what?
Holy smokes.
Yeah, like that does not, like watching you and seeing your time, the effort level doesn't look like you're even trying.
No, man. I watch those guys and a lot of them look like they're running on like a people mover.
Yeah.
Like when you're in the airport and you get on there and you like, you know, how much faster you're going than everyone else. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look like they're working any harder.
Yeah.
They are just going so much faster. And so,
yeah, I think I'll obviously keep running after the half marathon. I think my goal would probably to like build up some quick like 5K type times.
Yeah.
And through working through that, I'll obviously be speeding up my half marathon time. Yeah, I mean, I think the goal would be one day I would like to be able to like comfortably be like, yeah, I could run a half marathon in under an hour and a half.
Yeah,
like just
under 90.
just any time. Like if you like, it was a Tuesday and you were like, put on those shoes and go run them. Yep. You know, I could do it. Yep. You know, it wasn't like, no, I need my race day shoes. I need to gel. Yeah. I need to have every condition met in order to do this.
Own it.
I want to be able to just be like, kind of like right now, if I told you, hey man, you got to go bench 315. You could probably bench 315.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I was big about that in weightlifting on weights I owned, like no matter what, I knew I mean, I might still have to warm up or whatever, but like I knew I'd hit it. Yeah. Versus like weights I had hit or like maybe could hit.
Right.
Yeah. So I see that. Being able to own that 90-minute time would be dope.
It's kind of like 405 squat. Like I literally the other day, I hadn't squatted in forever, and I had Crocs on, and someone was like, "Can you still squat 405?" I was like,
"Yes."
I put 405 on, hit it in Crocs,
boom,
in Crocs, and just like racked it up. I was done. So that's like me, like 315 bench, 405 squat. I don't really deadlift, so that's not ever gonna be for me. And then be like, yeah, I can bench 315, squat 405, and I can run an hour and a half.
Solid.
A half marathon.
Solid fitness.
You got anything planned for you? I know your ankle is still working.
It's on the mend, man. Next week, I'm going to go back to jiu-jitsu. So that's kind of step one. And then try to get some cardio back in. I've been riding the air bike. But yeah, not really.
Yeah.
I've just been hurt in my eye and everything else. I've just felt like I'm
falling apart. You're getting old, you know?
Sucks.
Yeah, you're turning 37, right?
Yeah, dude. It's terrible.
Next week.
Yeah.
Or
Saturday.
Yeah.
Got my birthday this weekend.
Yeah. I'm running a half marathon for your birthday. So
happy birthday to me. Brad's going to run.
So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us. As always, you're worth it. Do our shit.
See ya.